Just get a drink of water after that. That was a long rant about Star Wars. Hey guys, what's going on? So in today's video, we are going to be discussing everything that I watched in December. So I told myself that I was going to watch more in December than I did in November, and I think TV show wise, yes I did. Movie wise, no I didn't. We're gonna start out with every movie that I watched in December first, because there honestly wasn't that many, and then we're gonna go right on into the TV shows. I would like to mention before I get into movies though, that one of the main reasons I did not watch many movies this month is because I was really into watching these two YouTubers. One of them is a YouTuber vlogging couple I've been watching for years, and I was catching up because I've been behind on a bunch of their vlogs. And the other one was actually a new lifestyle vlogger YouTuber that I've gotten into. And those YouTubers are Aspen and Parker, as well as Renee Amberg. I've been watching Aspen and Parker for years, and I caught up on like months worth of their vlogs this past month. And that's why I didn't watch that many movies. And then I'm just super obsessed with watching anything and everything related to New York, and I discovered this YouTuber named Renee Amberg who recently moved to New York in the past year, and I kind of got addicted to watching her videos as well. So that's why I didn't watch that many movies, but that will change, hopefully, in January. So the first movie that I watched in December was The Prom, and I'm so excited. I love musical theater, guys. I was so excited to see that The Prom was getting adapted into a movie. I actually did not know much about The Prom. I knew it existed, I just hadn't listened to the cast recording for The Prom, and I haven't seen it, and so I was really excited for it to come out as a movie because it was going to be like my first introduction to the musical, and I had such a fun time with The Prom, guys. So much fun. Everyone was amazing in it. I was thrilled to see Nicole Kidman in a musical again. I haven't seen Nicole Kidman in a musical since Moulin Rouge, so I was thrilled to see her in a performing role like that again. Meryl Streep was amazing as always. Ariana DeBose and the other young actress that I unfortunately cannot remember the name of, they were both fantastic in the like younger teen roles, the leads of the movie. It's unfortunate they kind of get overshadowed by the adults of the movie since those were like way high caliber stars, but yeah, I loved the movie. Andrew Rannells was fantastic, of Falsetto's fame. His song Love Thy Neighbor was beautiful, amazing, one of my favorite performances in the whole movie. I would give The Prom an 8 out of 10. The next movie that I watched in December is Gremlins, which I filmed a reaction video to. You can click on it up there. I'm 95% confident it will be right up here. And that video, my Gremlins video, has been out for about 4 days now, and I cannot believe the overwhelming success, happiness, joy, 3 words just came to my brain, and it made it so nothing came out of my mouth. But I'm thrilled just by how well that video has done. Already over 1,000 views in 4 days, and I've gotten, I feel like, so many new subscribers from the video, and there's such great conversations going on in the comment section in my Gremlins video. There's a lot of going on, and I love it. I love responding to comments and seeing everyone talk about the movies that I'm watching. It's so fun. So yeah, if you were one of the viewers from Gremlins, whether a new viewer or an old viewer, thank you. It's been very happy. I've been very happy watching how well Gremlins did. And I loved Gremlins so much. I knew the movie was going to be good, but I didn't expect to have as much fun as I did with the movie, and I did not expect to love and care for Gizmo as much as I did in the movie. And for everyone on my Gremlins video who have told me to watch Gremlins 2, I am going to watch Gremlins 2, and it is coming soon. I am watching it very soon, so maybe be on the lookout for that. Again, you can go to my video if you want to see more of my thoughts and love on Gremlins and the stress that I have for about half of the movie regarding Gizmo's health and safety. Link up there. I would give Gremlins Hello, Ophelia. I would give Gremlins a 9 out of 10. The next movie I watched in December is actually a movie I watched 3 times within the span of like 3 days. And that movie is Ariana Grande, Excuse Me, I Love You. The tour, recorded film of her tour / little bit of a documentary as well as some behind the scenes stuff of her recent Sweetener World Tour. Guys, I am a very big Ariana Grande fan. Very, very big. I have been a fan of hers since Victorious, and then I kind of fell out right around the beginning of her music career. It just wasn't really my thing, but then right about when her Dangerous Woman era came out, I was a big fan of a lot of the lead singles for Dangerous Woman, and then when she released Sweetener, that's when I really kind of was like, okay, I'm going to dedicate my time to listening to the album and paying attention now. And then Thank You Next came out, guys, and Thank You Next, my favorite Ariana Grande album. So good. I see a lot of hate for Thank You Next on my Twitter timeline, and I don't understand it, because when Thank You Next came out, everyone was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with it. I listened to it nonstop for probably 2 weeks, and I feel like everyone else was then as well. And then all of a sudden, Positions, her most recent album, comes out, and everyone is talking about how Thank You Next is not one of her top tier albums, when it 100% is. 100%. Favorite album. And I am so disappointed in myself that I did not go to the Thank You Next tour whenever they came to Texas, but I didn't. I went to Prom instead, and I should have gone to the Ariana Grande concert. I'd already been to like 3 proms or 2 proms or whatever. I could have skipped out on that one. Honestly, the tour would have been better. So I was thrilled whenever Ariana Grande announced that this documentary / official recording of her concert was coming out, because I was like, oh my god, anytime I'm in the mood to watch that tour or listen to her sing those songs live from Thank You Next and from Sweetener along with her other albums, I could just watch this. And yeah, I already know I'm going to watch it probably a bajillion more times over the course of my life, but I've already watched it 3 times. Obviously, I watched it the day it came out, and then I watched it that same day later on in the day when I was editing a video. I just had it on in the background, and it's such a good background thing to have on in the background. Just hearing her sing live, those vocals. I just can't believe that I am alive in the same lifetime that Ariana Grande is, and that I have the opportunity to go and witness those vocals live. She is just, like, say what you want about how, oh, her music is a little too poppy. Yes, she has pop music, and yes, sometimes, especially if you're not accustomed to Ariana Grande's music, it can be hard to understand what she says every single time, but you cannot deny that she has a brilliant voice, and that she has one of the best voices of, like, this current time. No one can deny it. She has a fantastic voice, so even if you don't like the music, you can at least respect how brilliant her voice is. And that is why I watched the movie for a 3rd time on Christmas Eve, where I had my parents, 2 people not really known for enjoying modern pop music, I had them watch it, because I knew even if they didn't enjoy every single song, they would appreciate how good she sounds singing all those songs. So yeah, I give Ariana Grande, Excuse Me, I Love You, 10 out of 10. Perfect. Brilliant. Amazing. I love it so much. I'm not like, I wouldn't say, let me just go on this quick little rant. I wouldn't say I'm like huge into pop. Like, I do enjoy a lot of pop music, but I wouldn't call that my main genre. I'm more of like a indie pop, acoustic indie, going into then some just mainstream pop every now and then a lot of also classic music, like music from the 80s and 90s, a lot of 2000s throwbacks. My music taste is really all over the place. It's easier actually to tell you just kind of the genres I don't really vibe with, which is mainly like country, screamo, techno, even though there are a couple techno songs that I like. So yeah, I really just like everything, and then I even like some country songs. So like, I just love everything, but my main stuff is indie and indie pop. But anyways, the next movie that I watched in December is Wonder Woman 1984. I watched this on Christmas Day with my parents, and unpopular opinion, but I enjoyed the movie. I know I see a lot of people on Twitter bash the movie, say it's terrible, say it's the worst DC film they've ever seen, and I don't agree. I think it's not the best by far. Like, you know, Wonder Woman was better, Shazam was better, Joker was obviously better, but I don't know if Joker would be considered like in the same like realm as the other DC movies. I don't know, that's just kind of a one-off. But I enjoyed Wonder Woman 1984 far more than Aquaman, far more than Batman vs. Superman, far more than Justice League, and probably more than Suicide Squad. I don't know. Before the next, probably before the Snyder Cut comes out, I want to rewatch all of the DC movies. Probably except Aquaman though, and except Wonder Woman 1984, since those are the most recent ones I've seen, and probably except Shazam, more like the old ones. Like, I want to rewatch Man of Steel, and Batman vs. Superman, and Justice League, and Suicide Squad, since it's been, and Wonder Woman, since it's been 3+ years since I've seen all those. But yeah, I did not think this was the worst DC movie by far. I had a lot of fun with aspects of it. I love Chris Pine, and I love everything he does, so every scene with Chris Pine was great. Pedro Pascal was great as the villain, and Kristen Wiig was also great. Spoilers really quickly for Wonder Woman 1984. Feel free to skip past this until this little poster right here goes away. But whenever she showed up as like the leopard at the end, or cheetah, I think she was supposed to be a leopard, that was awesome. I haven't really heard any bad opinion or like negative opinions on that so far. So I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I loved that when she like evolved into the apex predator. I thought that was so fun. Spoilers over. I think I way more prefer still the first Wonder Woman movie, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I would give Wonder Woman 1984 an 8 out of 10. I would. Also, the end credits scene, for those of y'all who have seen it, I freaked out. I freaked out so much. That was a fantastic end credit scene. I loved it. Anyways, next movie. Next movie that I watched in December, I watched the next day. I watched Soul, the new Pixar movie, and guys, it was brilliant. Every Pixar movie almost is brilliant. I loved it. I was really curious going in if I was gonna cry, because I cry in a lot of Pixar movies, guys. I sob every time I watch Coco. I cried, I remember the first time I saw Inside Out, and I think I still do cry. I just don't watch Inside Out as much as I do Coco. I love Coco, one of my favorite Pixar movies. I cried during Finding Nemo. I cried during Finding Dory. I cry a lot in Finding Dory. That one is really emotional for me. I don't know. I love Pixar. Pixar as just a whole is just chef's kiss, amazing, so good. Their only slip up was Cars 2, and fight me on this, I don't think The Good Dinosaur is that bad. Yeah, it's not on the same level as a lot of Pixar movies, but The Good Dinosaur was beautiful, okay? But anyways, back to Soul. I was really curious if I was gonna cry during it, because a lot of people had said online that they had cried, they had sobbed during Soul, and I was like, is it gonna be like an Inside Out, or like a Coco, or like an Up for me, where I just sob? And pretty much for 98% of the movie, the answer was no, I didn't cry. And then all of a sudden, that last like 3 minutes or like 5 minutes came in, and the tears came. And then the movie ended, and it was the credits. And I just sat there and I started sobbing after it was over. So, yeah, and then I sat there during the credits just crying while my parents talked about the movie, and I was just there just in a little puddle. But yeah, fantastic. I loved it. I loved the little animated New York vibe. I also loved the like whole ethereal world where all the souls were. I thought the concept was amazing. The animation was brilliant, as it always is. Yeah, Pixar's Soul gets a 10 out of 10. I am so excited for everything that Pixar has coming up. They win almost every time. 96% of the time, I say they win. And the last movie that I watched in December was another movie that I uploaded as a reaction for y'all, and that is Scooby Doo 2. You guys can watch that up here. I loved Scooby Doo 2, guys. I was curious going in since it's been a long time since I've seen both of the live action Scooby Doo movies, I was curious to see which one I prefer, and I still don't know the full answer. I love Scooby Doo, the first one, in a lot of ways, and I also love the sequel in a lot of ways. I think I love the sequel a hair more. Like a hair. Like Scooby Doo 2 is at like a 100%, and then the original Scooby Doo is at a 99%. Like, so close to each other. And I don't really know why. I think the reason why I loved the second one a hair more is because in the first one we have to deal with for a portion of the movie the whole gang being at odds with each other and them having to find their way back into working as a team, and it's fun. I just think I really enjoyed with the sequel seeing they're together straight off the bat. No arguments, no finding their way back to each other. They're there and they are solving this mystery from the get-go. I also loved seeing Alicia Silverstone, aka Cher from Clueless, in the movie. Whenever I originally watched the movie as a kid, I had no idea who she was. So now seeing her, after having seen Clueless a bunch of times, I so had fun getting to see her in the movie. Also, the monsters were so cool. I loved all the scenes with all of the monsters near the end of the movie. They were such creative monsters. So yeah, I definitely think I prefer the sequel more than the first one. Not by much, but I think I do. It just reminds me, I think, a little more of the cartoon, even though, yeah, it is live action, just with how many monsters there are and they're solving the mystery, and I don't know, guys. It also takes place in their hometown, and it, like, you get to see their, like, headquarters and, like, the lab, and it's just, it's so good. I give Scooby-Doo 2 a 10 out of 10. So those are all the movies that I watched in December. Let's jump into the TV shows that I started and finished in December. So I'm still kind of working out the format as to how I want to talk about TV shows in these wrap-ups, but for this video, I'm going to talk about everything that I finished this month and then everything I started this month. I don't want to talk about because I'm barely, like, the ones I've started, I've barely gotten into, so I don't really want to, like, try and give any thoughts on it yet because I haven't finished. So I'm just gonna, like, list them for y'all. I hope that works. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I like it when I'm editing. So the first show that I finished in December was Ratched. I started that show and discussed it in October, and I finally finished, and I thought it was good. I didn't think it was the best. I think there was definitely a couple of episodes here and there that were pretty slow for me. One of my favorite aspects of the show was, and sorry, but I am not going to remember anyone's name in this show, but actually, real quickly, I'm going to put up a little spoiler card here for this part because I'm not really sure what would be considered a spoiler or not, and I don't want to make anyone angry. So proceed with caution if you want to hear this part about this. I loved every part with Sarah Paulson's unofficial official brother, and then the other nurse, the nurse who was played by the girl from the Beautiful Creatures movie. She was in this, and I was so happy to see her in something else. I haven't seen her since that Beautiful Creatures movie from 2013. She's been in, like, nothing, so I was so excited to see her in this show. And I just loved the whole plot of her and the brother, the crazy brother who was in the hospital, them, like, falling in love and running away together after the ball, like, escaping and then hiding in the barn. I was kind of rooting for them, even though, yeah, what they did was terrible and he needed help and she should not have done what she did to get them out, but, like, it was just so interesting. I wanted it to continue. It was the most interesting thing I'd seen yet in the show. I was excited to see these characters get out of the hospital, and I wanted to see more. And then, especially spoilers, if you were proceeding with caution before, do not listen ahead if you really haven't seen the show and care about it, but I was so disappointed they killed off her character. What's up with that? Like, I wanted more from her. She was one of my favorite parts of the show, the girl from Beautiful Creatures, and they killed her off. Really disappointing on that aspect. But anyways, spoilers over. Sarah Paulson was great, as she always is. Sarah Paulson kills it in everything she's in, so she was great. I also really enjoyed seeing Miranda from Sex and the City. She was also a lead part in the show, and she was great as well. And other than that, it was good. I thought it was interesting, kind of them doing a little prequel to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It doesn't tie really that much into One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest that much, other than the star being Nurse Ratched and it taking place in the same hospital that One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest takes place in. Maybe if there's a season 2, it'll kind of start to tie in a little bit more. Like maybe we'll start getting introduced to some of the characters from Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I don't know. It was good. I give Ratched a B+. The next TV show that I finished in December is the 9th season of American Horror Story, another show that I started and discussed in my October wrap-up. I'll leave a little link for my October wrap-up right there. It is awfully long because I was still figuring out how to do these type of videos, and I also watched a lot of stuff in October. But yeah, so I finished season 9, and I also thought that one was good. Not the best season of American Horror Story by far, but I thought it was fun how they were doing a little like ode to the slasher films of the 1980s, particularly Friday the 13th. I thought it was fun, and I loved how there was a whole vibe with the characters, especially later on in the series where they were like, the 80s will never die, long live the 80s, we don't want anyone to hate the 80s. It was like, I thought that was funny. Mild spoilers for the ending of American Horror Story season 9, but I really enjoyed like those last 2 episodes, guys. I really enjoy whenever shows that are maybe like set in the past then go into the future and have some like future tie to it. So I really enjoyed how the season finale took place in 2019, and it was about like the son of one of the characters from the 80s, and he like went back to the camp. And I also love when shows do that thing where characters die and somehow the property keeps them like in a like eternal place. I can't remember the name for it, but like where they're eternally kept there on the property as like a ghost in a way. And I loved how American Horror Story did that in the latter half of the season. I thought it was really fun and a really cool addition to the season. Instead of it just being like slasher film, it also had that aspect of horror that we've seen in a couple other movies and shows and stuff like that. So yeah, spoilers over. I thought the show was fun. It was slow kind of in the middle, but I'd say the end, like last 2 or 3 episodes, really picked up and I enjoyed. So I would give the 9th season of American Horror Story also a B+. And the last show that I finished in December was the 2nd season of The Mandalorian, and guys, that final episode, wow, I cried. And you know what, I'm just, spoiler card, I'm sorry if you are not a fan or if you have not seen the 2nd season of The Mandalorian yet, but I just need to talk about how, spoilers, Luke Skywalker was the one to come pick up Grogu. Guys, Baby Yoda. Yes, I've gotten really used to calling Baby Yoda Grogu. I'm surprised. I thought I would never get used to that name and he would always be Baby Yoda to me. And Grogu just kind of has started just slipping like off the tongue really easily for me. So that's kind of surprising. But anyways, Luke Skywalker, I had a feeling it would be him. But also, I didn't know if they would go there, and they did. And it made me so happy. Yes, the de-aging weird CGI thing was weird, as it's always been. You know, they're still working out that technology, and I thought it looked pretty good compared to how it has looked in the past with other Star Wars stuff and with other Marvel stuff. I think they're getting better. They're not there yet, but it's getting better. The main thing was it wasn't even really Luke Skywalker's face. It was more just how stiff it all was, how stiff he was as a whole. So they have that to work on, but I was just so thrilled because I love Luke Skywalker, guys. I started crying when R2-D2 came up, and also just how dare they end it like that. Grogu just went off with him, and like I was so scared. I was like, are we gonna get to see Grogu again? Like, what is the 3rd season gonna be? What is it gonna be? Because then there was the end credit scene with Boba Fett, and they were like, Boba Fett, the Tale of Boba Fett or whatever, coming December of 2021, and I was like, wait, isn't that the same month that The Mandalorian season 3 comes out? Are they making the 3rd season just about Boba Fett? Because don't get me wrong, I love Boba Fett. Boba Fett, whenever he showed up in the show, I was thrilled. I was like, amazing, I love this. I'm sorry for anyone who disagrees about like OG characters from the original trilogy or like the new trilogy or the prequel trilogy. If you guys disagree with them showing up in the show, like you think it should just be solely new characters, I agree to an extent, but when the old characters show up, I can't help but be so happy. It just makes me happy as a fan of all 3 of the Star Wars trilogy movies. I just love it when I see Boba Fett, and I just love it when I see Luke Skywalker. I do. And I totally get people who aren't a fan of that. Y'all have your opinion. I have mine. I'm a big fan of it. Of course, I do in the future want to see more stuff where there's just completely new characters, but maybe like some new Jedi or something, like 200 years in the future. Like, I don't know. I just need to have my Jedi fix in something Star Wars related. Like, I love seeing stuff non-Jedi related, but then I start to like crave seeing Jedi somewhere in there. Where was I going? I just went on a rant and I forgot what I was originally talking about. Oh, I remember. So yeah, I was so worried that the 3rd season was going to be about Boba Fett, but after, you know, waiting weeks and seeing everyone talk about it on the internet, apparently it has been confirmed that that isn't going to be a 3rd season, and that there will be a 3rd season with the Mandalorian and with all those characters. So I'm guessing it's going to go into them doing stuff related to Mandalore and related to that dark saber that the Mandalorian, I don't remember his name right now, but the Mandalorian now is in possession of, and that other girl that I don't remember the name of, but she wanted the dark saber to take back Mandalore. They're going to figure that out, and they're maybe going to take back Mandalore together or do something with Mandalore. Is it taking back Mandalore, or is it, I felt like, didn't Mandalore blow up? I'm so sorry to Star Wars fans who like know way more about this than me. I've already forgotten what happened with Mandalore, but they were doing something with Mandalore. If you want to explain it to me, please explain it in the comments, because I don't remember. But yeah, I have a feeling the 3rd season will be Mandalore, but I also feel like they need to figure out how to incorporate Baby Yoda or Grogu into the 3rd season, because I feel like that so much of their audience contains people who are there for Grogu. So are they gonna jump back and forth between Grogu training to be a Jedi and what's happening with the Mandalorian? Or are they gonna find out some plot device or some conflict that'll bring the Mandalorian back to Baby Yoda somehow? Also, are we gonna see more Luke Skywalker? Or is that just gonna be like oh, we did it in that one episode too, please fans, and that's it? Like, is it gonna be, are we gonna see Luke Skywalker training at the like Jedi Academy that he restarts before episode 7, the one that then Kylo Ren is at? Like, are we gonna see the beginnings of that and Baby Yoda's there, or are they not even gonna pay attention to anything about episodes 7 through 9, and is it gonna be something completely different? Are we gonna get introduced to a young Kylo Ren? And then that just opens so many more doors. Like, are we gonna get to see Luke Skywalker training Leia? Because I think this takes place right around the time that's maybe happening, you know? He started training Leia in the Force right kind of in this time period, I think. So is he gonna bring Baby Yoda back with him, start training him, also be training Leia, and start the Jedi Academy? And then does that mean if we're going to start seeing Leia, are we going to get to see Leia and Han Solo get married? Are we going to get to see them have Kylo Ren? There's just so many doors. I don't think they would go all into that with Leia and Han and all of that in The Mandalorian, because it's about The Mandalorian, you know? But like, could they? Because like, they just brought one of the main characters away with Luke Skywalker. They can't just take him out of the show completely, right? There has to be something with him. Either some way he goes back with the Mandalorian, so then they're together again, or they actually introduce more stuff with Luke Skywalker and they bring that in, and that's like a subplot of what's going on in The Mandalorian. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I really would appreciate if some of y'all comment down below if y'all have been watching season 2 of The Mandalorian, or Mandalorian in general, what you guys think season 3 is going to be about. If you think we're actually going to see more of Luke, and then even maybe Leia and Han. I don't know. They could bring back the guy who played Han Solo in the Han Solo movie. He could play Han in the show, maybe. I don't know. I know he was playing a young Han in the movie, but like they can't de-age Harrison Ford to play Han Solo, I don't think. And then I feel like Billie Lourd, Carrie Fisher's daughter, she could totally like be the body for Leia, and then maybe they could do a little de-aging thing, like to make it like Leia's face, or maybe it could just be Billie Lourd is now young Leia. Like they could just, and then they could do the guy who plays Winter Soldier, I don't remember his name right now, but the guy who plays the Winter Soldier in Marvel, he could play Luke Skywalker in the upcoming season. Billie Lourd can play Leia, and then the guy from the Han Solo movie can play Han Solo, and that could just be a subplot, maybe, of The Mandalorian. I don't know if that'd be too much for the show, though, because most episodes are like 30 minutes. I don't know. I'm so curious to see what they do with season 3 of The Mandalorian, if my theories are correct. I don't know if I want them to be correct, though. I don't know if I want to see that, or maybe that be a spin-off, because I definitely do want to see that. I definitely do want to see Luke start the Jedi Academy, and I would love to see him training Leia. And I'd love to see that. I just don't know if there's enough time for that in The Mandalorian, or if that should be its own spin-off show. But then I don't know how Grogu would translate over that, because then he's not even in The Mandalorian anymore. He's in his own show, like his own spin-off show. And it's like, then does The Mandalorian and that show like collide? I don't know. I don't know. Rant over. Comment down below if you listen to all that, what you think of that, what you think season 3 will contain, what you think of my theories. I don't know. I'm just tossing things out there of what is going through my head when I think about the future of The Mandalorian. But anyways, season 2 of The Mandalorian gets an A+. Fantastic, brilliant. I cried multiple times every time I saw one of those magical people with those magical swords. Let's get a drink of water after that. That was a long rant about Star Wars. The next show that I started and finished in December was the new Netflix show, Tiny Pretty Things. I was gonna wait to watch this show until I had finished some of my other shows that I'm watching, and I couldn't wait. The temptation to start it was killing me. I love shows about ballet. Fun fact, I was a ballet dancer / just dancer in general, but primarily ballet from the age of like 7 until 12. And part of me wishes I stayed in it, because the things that those girls can do on point is beautiful. And I was in my first year of point whenever I had to quit because I got a stress reaction in my leg, in my left leg, as well as shin splints in my foot. Or was it the other way around? Was it shin splints in my leg and a stress reaction in my foot? I don't remember, but I got both of those things, both of those injuries in my one leg within like a couple months of each other, making it so I had to sit out of a lot of my 12-year-old year of dance, making it so I would have been behind and I had to repeat classes. So I just ended up quitting, and it was heartbreaking, but also I saved my foot from a lot of injuries that would have gotten being in point shoes. But man, part of me wishes I would have stayed in it, but also then would I would have done all the other stuff I did with my life? I don't know. It's a whole, that's in a different universe, the universe where I stayed in ballet and was like a full legit teen dancer and all that stuff. But back to Tiny Pretty Things. I was so excited to watch the show just because I love watching stuff with dance in it because of my dance background, and it was good. It was addicting. I watched it in like 4 days. 4 or 5, no, yeah, like 3 or 4 days, not even 4 or 5. The show wasn't perfect. There was a couple of plot points here and there, and some of the writing here and there was not that good at points. But the overall plot was interesting, kept me hooked the whole time. Every single dance scene was fantastic. I loved, one of my favorite aspects of the show was how they didn't hire like big names and like tried to teach them how to dance, or like just didn't do that many dance scenes, or like even did something where they had big names who played them for the most part, and then when it got to be the dance scenes, it was like stunt people who played the dancers. I'm glad they didn't do that, and what they did is they cast primarily unknown actors who are also professional dancers, and they killed it. Like, they were professionally dancing up there while doing a pretty good job at acting. My favorite character was, is her name Cassie? Oh my god, I'm blanking on her name now. Who was the main character? Not the main character, but the blonde one. Her name wasn't Cassie. I don't know where I was getting Cassie from. Was that maybe the girl who was in a coma? I don't know. Bet was my favorite character, guys. And yes, she's kind of the mean girl of the show, and there was a lot of problematic stuff about her, but she was the most interesting to watch. She was one of my favorite ones to watch dancing, and in my opinion, she had a lot of the best character development and just like depth to her. She was just a very complex character to me, and I really enjoyed watching her. A lot of the other characters in the show annoyed me, and that didn't take away from my enjoyment because I was just so invested in the plot and in watching them dance that I didn't care about how they annoyed me. But Bet was one of the ones where she would sometimes annoy me, but majority of the time I was just invested in her storyline. I was invested in all that she was going through and all that she was doing. She was just interesting to me. So yeah, I really enjoyed Tiny Pretty Things. I hope that there's a season 2 because I would love to continue it. I give Tiny Pretty Things A-. I'm gonna stick with that. I hope the show, if there's a season 2, could go to being an A. Hopefully they will hear some of the criticisms about season 1, and hopefully they will adjust that for season 2 and make it even better. Okay, now I'm just gonna mention really quickly the other shows that I started this month. Yes, there's still some shows from my previous wrap-ups that I have not finished yet. Jessica Jones and the Clone Wars. I'm 3 episodes away from finishing season 1 of Jessica Jones, those guys. So that show will definitely be mentioned more in my January wrap-up. Some other shows that I will quickly talk about, not too much because I want to save that for when I finish them in a future wrap-up. But the other shows I started Girls, an HBO show. I mainly started it because I'm obsessed with New York and I wanted to watch as many shows as possible that take place in the city, and Girls is one of them. And also Kylo Ren, Adam Driver, is in the show, which I didn't know, and then also the girl from Get Out is in the show. And so yeah, I started Girls. More thoughts on that when I make more progress. I also started the Netflix show Selena, based on the life of Selena. How do I pronounce her name? I don't want to butcher it because I'm a fan of her.
Selena Quintanilla.
Alright, so sorry if I'm pronouncing that, or I'm butchering that, but I started watching Selena, based on Selena Quintanilla, the Latin pop artist from the 90s. Oh my god, I'm so sorry if her genre is not called Latin pop. What was they talk about the genre all the time in Selena. Tejano music, that's what her genre was primarily called. Latino pop, I don't think that's correct. So I'm sorry, I'm butchering so much in this video. Tejano music, a very popular American Tejano artist from the 90s. I am a very big fan of her music, and primarily I discovered her from the Jennifer Lopez movie Selena from, I believe, the late 90s, at least early 2000s, but I think late 90s, chronicling Selena's life, I can't speak. But yeah, so the movie Selena is one of my favorite movies of all time. I've watched it a bajillion times, and it made me a fan of her music, so I was really pumped to see that a TV show came out. I'm about a third of the way through the first season. I also love, one of the things I was most excited about is that Angela from Twilight, the girl who's also in The Walking Dead, is playing Selena. I love that. I love seeing her get work. I love seeing people from the Twilight Saga be successful. So yes, I will speak more on my thoughts on the TV show Selena in a future wrap-up when I finish it. And another show that I started in the month of December, which I won't go much into, but guys, I have finally started Friends. It's happening. I'm finally watching Friends. I wanted to watch another show that takes place in New York, and I was like, why not watch one of the most iconic shows set in that city? Friends. It's finally happening. I've only watched 1 episode though because HBO Max was severely buffering the night that I started the show, so I only got the 1 episode, and then I was like, Friends doesn't deserve me to be watching while it's buffering, so I'm gonna watch it later. And I haven't watched it since then. It was like a week ago, so I'll watch more and I will discuss it more when I've made more progress in future wrap-up videos. And the last show that I started in the month of December, I actually can't say anything about because it's for my next reaction series. I'm doing another TV show series, guys, and I don't want to spoil it for y'all, but the first video will be coming out in probably, like, by the time this video comes out, like a week or 2. I think at least a week. So be on the lookout for that. It's a very popular show, and just a heads up, I'm doing it, the format of the episodes, different than I did The Haunting of Bly Manor. Instead of doing a video per episode, I'm gonna do it where it's 2 episodes per video. So the first video is gonna have the first 2 episodes all the way up to the season finale. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'm really enjoying the show so far, and you'll get to see it when the first video comes out, and then I'll talk about it in my January wrap-up. So just to kind of wrap things up, because I feel like I want to start doing this at the end of my wrap-up videos for my TV shows, just to kind of, since I talk about a lot of what I'm starting and finishing and I haven't made any progress on, but I talked about it in other wrap-ups, I feel like it's a lot because I watch a lot of TV shows at once. Because honestly, let me just say this, the reason why I watch so many TV shows at once is because if I just watch 1 to like 3 TV shows at a time, I start to get bored of them, and I don't want to just stop them, so I just start other things to like feel like, oh, if I don't feel like watching the Clone Wars at this time, oh, I'll watch Jessica Jones instead, because I know then probably like 3 days later I'll feel like watching another episode of the Clone Wars again, but I want to watch something. So I want to have another show to like pick from, to watch. I want to have a variety of stuff, all different genres going on at the same time. So I'm going to start doing this little thing at the end of each wrap-up video where I put up a little graphic that shows everything that I'm currently watching TV-wise with what season I'm in. So yeah. Here's that. Everything I am, as of the time of filming this video, I'm currently watching. So like, it's not going to include Ratched, it's not going to include American Horror Story, because I finished those. Like, everything that I'm still watching episodes of as of the time of filming this video, here they are. And that does it for my wrap-up, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. I love making these wrap-up videos. These videos I primarily upload just for me, like a little time capsule of everything I watch in the month that I could go back and watch like 5-6 years from now when I'm like reminiscing on my channel or whatever, and I can go through and I can watch me talk about everything I watch in a month. I think that's just so fun. So if you guys don't enjoy it, I at least enjoy it, and that's all that matters. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, real quickly, today, the day that I'm filming this video, I reached 300 subscribers, and I'm so excited. That's so many people who all decided that they enjoyed my videos enough that they want to like stick around, and that's crazy. And I got like 20 subscribers, I think, based off of just my Gremlins video. But anyways, thank you for 300 subscribers. That's awesome. Make sure to follow me on social media. My Instagram is @RachelRimini, my Twitter is @Rachel_Rimini, and my letterboxd is Rachel Rimini, my name. Letterboxd, for anyone who doesn't know, is pretty much a social media site all dedicated to movies and some limited series as well, since limited series can kind of be considered a really long movie. But yeah, if you guys are interested, if you guys are film buffs and are interested in hearing my thoughts about everything I watch in a month movie-wise, follow me on Letterboxd. There's an app for it on iOS and Android, and there's a website. And so, like, you know, everything that I film a reaction video to, that's not everything I watch in the month. And yeah, I talk about everything I watch in the month in these wrap-ups, but you could hear me talk about them sooner in like a written review version on my Letterboxd. And I also make a bunch of fun lists, movie lists in Letterboxd. It's just a fun time. I love Letterboxd. I love the Letterboxd community, so you should go follow me there if you're interested. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great start to your 2021, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!